Yes, it is all about R&B Divas LA, and it is amazing how some people act the minute they get a hold of some great meds. Hey guys, what's up? It is your girl Lock Looney Tune, and I am back with another review for R&B Divas LA episode 8. And personally, I'm still on a high from episode 7, which is still my favorite episode to date. This episode, it kind of started kind of slow for me. I mean, it got off kind of to a slow start, but by the middle of the episode, I was just like, whoa, what the heck happened? My whole thing is what was going on with Shantae Moore. That was my whole thing with the whole episode, pretty much, because she had this surgery on her neck or something, and basically she came to rehearsal and she was really like, she was walking like a robot, right? And it just looked, she looked awkward, and I was trying to find out, okay, well, what's going on with her? Why does she look like that? Why is she acting like that? So she says, you know, she had surgery earlier, you know, a while back or whatever, and now she's having some pains in her neck and everything. And you know, she was having pains while she was singing, and it's just like, all of a sudden, it was just like everything just shut down. She stopped singing. She didn't want to move. You know, it was like some type of pinched nerve or something. So she goes to the doctor, has it checked out. They tell her that whatever was wrong with her neck before, it is spread to some other disc in her spine. And they give her a choice. They give her a couple choices. You know, they tell her that she could either have surgery or she could get an epidural in her back, in her spine, you know, to ease the inflammation and the pain or whatever. That could last anywhere up to about maybe 6 months or so, or whatever. She opts to get the epidural, and she doesn't want to get the surgery because of, she says she has her, you know, she's a single mom, she has her kids and things like that. And then she also has, you know, the Puerto Rico project and everything coming up. My thing is this is what my issue is with that. If you do not get the surgery, you know what I'm saying? I mean, your kids, I mean, hello, you rather have your kids worrying about their mom. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the doctor said that she could, you know, if this doesn't get fixed, she could have, it could affect her arms. The surgery could affect her vocal cords, which could considerably change her voice, but also it could affect, if she doesn't get the surgery, it could affect, you know, mobility in her arms. And I'm just like, duh, there would not be any, I would not be sitting there thinking, okay, well, what do I do? Nah, you get the surgery. Damn this, damn R&B Divas, damn a contract, damn all that shit. Your health is the first thing that you take care of, especially when it comes to being there for your children. That's the first thing. That should be, you know, that shouldn't be rocket science. I mean, I know it's a lot of things going into this, and you don't want to lose your career, and you don't want to, you know, lose your voice and things like that, but you want to be there for your kids. You know, you're talking about your health here, and that's, you know, that shouldn't even be complicated. Why is it so complicated? So let me talk about Leela James, what was going on with her in this episode. Like, she was trying to find a new road manager, and she had talked to this lady. It was the little, I want to say little girl, because she was a small woman. I mean, she was very small. And Leela Jane was trying to explain to her, look, this job means that you have to be, you know, road manager, you have to be nanny, you have to be all this. You have to be security. And the lady looked pretty small, and she looked like, okay, she looked like she was there for the job. She looked like she was there, and she really wanted to get the job. And then all of a sudden, when, you know, it's time for you to show up for the job, she's nowhere to be found. Are you serious? I was like, people, is this how people act in, you know, in this industry. You know, you're supposed to be a professional. You can't just say, okay, well, I want this job, and then not show up. It's ridiculous. And then Leela was like, look, I guess she was expecting a man, a big dude. But then I'm sitting there like, okay, I'm guessing the lady didn't show up because she realized this wasn't a job for her. The show and the venue that Leela James performed at, it was amazing. That's all I want to say. I mean, like, that's what I'm here for as far as R&B Divas LA. I'm here for a little bit of drama, and I'm here for the music. That's what I'm there for, you know, as well as the sisterhood with the ladies. And, you know, I mean, a little bit of drama is good, but I don't like I didn't like the level of drama in season 1. I didn't like the level of drama. It was like way too much drama and not enough music, not enough R&B, way too much divas. This episode, I mean, this season is really giving me what I need for R&B Divas LA. I've never been a fan of R&B Divas Atlanta. I've just never been a fan of that show. I don't know why, but when they created R&B Divas LA, it was actually the show that was for me, because I think I see way more of the R&B aspect. Leela James and her show that she did in this episode, oh, it was epic. It was like, this is when things started picking up, and I was just like, oh my gosh, she is singing with so much power. Homegirl got on that stage and she rocked it. Everything, her hair was on point as always. She came out there and she sound like thunder. Like, it was that powerful. And like, her voice just came out there and she was just like singing like she was preaching to the choir. And then she came out there and then she got down on the stage, on the floor, and did some push-ups. She was like, my adrenaline is going so high up in here. And she was in Beverly Hills. You know, she was in Beverly Hills. She was like, this foo-foo and bougie area, Beverly Hills. Leela James is about to tear down in Beverly Hills. You know, it was a bad ass performance, and her girls was there to support her. Everybody but Shantae Moore, because I think, you know, she was getting checked out at the doctor and all that good stuff. But for the most part, it was a banging ass performance. Now, I'm going to get back to Shantae Moore's situation in just a second, but I'm going to talk about Claudette Ortiz. Now, this ain't going to take too long. This is not going to take too long. So, everybody knows, well, for those people who don't know, Claudette Ortiz, she used to be with a group called City High. Now, she's never had a solo record. She's never had, you know, a solo project come out, and people don't really know who she is as a solo artist. She was just with the group, and they released albums, you know, as a group. So she's trying to release her solo projects now. She had a song that I was listening to on the show, and I'm just like, okay, it's a good song, and you know, it is what it is. I'm watching her, and then she's trying to get the song together, and then she does a video shoot. Now, let me tell you something. The video shoot, the girl had on next to nothing. She had on a jacket, an open jacket. Yeah, she had on an open jacket with nothing underneath. Now, I'm pretty sure that I was like sitting there like, what the hell is she wearing, yo? But then I'm like, it's a video shoot, so, and she's an R&B star, so yeah, I guess she was wearing the correct uniform for that. Watching, and as I'm watching, I see like the little fan and everything blowing, and in the meantime, I see her jacket slightly blowing, but it's not blowing all the way open. So I'm sitting there like, okay, well, how in the hell is the jacket is not flying open so all of us can see her boobage all over the damn screen? But then I realized, okay, well, they probably put some what you call it, the double stick tape on there, you know, and then the photographers, the people shooting it, you know, the video, they're like, well, yeah, it was give us some, you know, jacket action or whatever. And she was like, well, I can't give you too much jacket action. That's because it ain't nothing else left to the imagination. Just the jacket and boobs. That's it. It was okay for the most part, I guess. I mean, my whole thing is, I'm not quite sure where Claudette Ortiz's solo career is gonna go after this show. I just don't know Shantae Moore, but she was already, you know, pretty established. Little Mo, definitely. Michelle Lay, gosh, I hope she picks up, you know, her voice is very powerful. Leela James is already charted. Chrisette Michelle's already charted, things like that. But I don't see it for Claudette. So let's talk about Shantae Moore and her show that she did after receiving the epidural she needed for her neck. Let's just say that she was a little loose, and everybody was saying, well, I'm glad that Shantae loosened up. Shantae was loose as a goose. Like, she was on the meds, and then Michelle Lay was like, yeah, she must be on some great meds. Like, she was like, I'm just saying, because she looked high as a kite. I'm serious, she was so lit, it was ridiculous. So Shantae Moore, she's on stage and she's asking guys in the audience, you know, can she touch their body and stuff like that. Like, she was getting very, very sexual, you know, up there on that stage, and she just looked like she was just out to lunch, man. And then like, she was getting very, very, very touchy-feely with these guys, and then she pulled one guy up on stage. Now, when this guy came up on stage, my Twitter feed went off, because the guy had on, now, first of all, Shantae Moore was dressed in something that similar, like a cat suit, right? She looked like a superhero, no doubt. She definitely looked like a superhero. I don't understand. I couldn't figure out what the weather was where she was, because she was dressed in something that was not, you know, as covered. I mean, she was covered up, but it wasn't like for the winter. But then there was this guy that got on stage with her who had on a sweater. I swear to God, it looked like a sweater my grandmother might have knitted back in like the 80s or the 90s or something like that. The sweater was so thick, my Twitter feed went off, and people were just like talking about this big white thick sweater that this guy had on. It was like a turtleneck mixed with a chinchilla coat. I mean, the coat, people were saying that the coat looked like a giant cotton ball. They were saying that it looked like, one girl was like, oh my God, he has on a sweater that looks like bounty paper towels. It was ridiculous. The sweater looked so funny, and it looked like the sweater was about to swallow him up whole. It was so funny. Shantae Moore has this guy on stage, and he's sitting in his chair, and she's singing to him and all this other stuff, and he just looks like he is about to melt in that sweater, and she's just all up on him, and meanwhile, I know she's not thinking about Roy. Like, Roy is like the last thing that is on Shantae's mind right now. Roy? No Roy. No Roy. Now, Shantae Moore talked to the ladies before her show, letting them know what was going on with her, that she had the epidural done, and they were, you know, they were very concerned, and they was asking her, you know, did he say it was okay for you to perform? And she was like, yeah, I'm fine. Truth is, I don't even know if he really said that. I don't even know if he said that. He just, you know, said to give you the epidural, you'll be okay. I don't think she really, you know, she didn't really tell the ladies exactly the extent of her situation, you know, because I'm pretty sure if they would have known that, they probably would have been like, why are you performing tonight, you know, in your current situation? The ladies' commentary of that show, it was something else, because Leela James was like, okay, this is like an adult show. What the heck is going on here? You know, she was getting a little frisky up there on stage, and Lil Mo was like, oh, she's giving them straight sex kitten and all that, and she was like, she had the man's, you could hear his change jingling in his pocket, and she was like, oh my God, I hope it is his change jingling, and I hope it wasn't his balls. I was like, okay, at that comment, I was dead. Chrisette Michelle was very uncomfortable. She was just like, this is grown folk business. You know, I ain't down with this. It's a little, you know, adult. You know, me personally, I was a little nervous and uncomfortable, and I was watching from the television. The show is over. She does great, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. I mean, I don't even know if she even is going to remember the show the very next day. She was so hot and lit. And then on the top of that, you know, I'm sure she was drinking and stuff. She started drinking because her birthday You know, they had a birthday celebration. I don't know if it was the next day. I'm thinking all of these days ran together because at they had a birthday party for Shantae Moore at Claudette Ortiz's house. Okay, so Claudette brings her pastor's husband, and then she brings her man Roy. Yeah, this is when Roy comes back into the picture, because Roy wasn't nowhere to be found at the show. You didn't invite Roy to the show. You was not going to invite Roy to that show. Definitely, you wasn't. So at this birthday party, Shantae obviously looked like she's still kicking them back. She's drinking, and I don't know if you're supposed to drink while you are on this medication, because she is still high as Cooley Brown, like really high. She is got her feet, you know, she done took her shoes off. She got her, you know, she got her man. She's all wrapped around him, and they feeding each other, and just, he act like he can't talk. He act like he mute, cause she was like, "Hey guys, this is Roy," cause they like, "Who this man? You know, we ain't never seen him before." So she say, "This is Roy," and he's like, "Hey ladies," and that's about the only thing you hear from Roy. You know, personally, I don't really need to see Roy. I really don't. I need to see Roy just about as much as I needed to see Justin, who is Chrisette Michelle's man. That's about how much I needed to see these men. I don't need to see these men. I really don't. It's irrelevant to the show. And you got everybody there, and it's a little uncomfortable because you got Shantae Moore and a man named Roy, and then you got, you know, her pastor, the pastor's husband. Oh, and you have her manager and her manager's husband. Yeah, and then you have the rest of the divas there. That's who you have in this house, and they are really, I mean, it would make me feel uncomfortable. Like, Michelle Lay was just like, this is better than the sex toy party. Now my whole thing, it was embarrassing. I would have been embarrassed, you know, seriously, because their, you know, their PDA, public display of affection, it's a little over the top, especially when you got the pastor up in the house and you feeding your man donuts and sitting on his lap and all hugged up on him and telling everybody that he make you feel like a natural woman. Not appropriate while the pastor is, you know. At the end of the show, it was basically the full recap for the Puerto Rico song. All the ladies ended up going to the studio to finalize this whole song with Warren Campbell, and you know, it was a good song. I loved it. You know, from what I heard, it was really a great project. I wish I would have heard more of it. Basically, like I said, I'm still on a high from the last episode. I'm still on a high from episode 7, because that was the episode where we saw them put them daggone tracks down and saw everybody really rock their parts and really, you know, make this song what it is. Now all that's left right now is to see these ladies perform this song, because that's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting on they getting ready to go to Puerto Rico and get twisted and get lit and do whatever they're gonna do, have fun, and get this performance on. That's what I'm waiting for, you know, because all these other episodes in between, other than episode 7, yes, all of the other, I mean, it's building up, but hey, yeah, this is what we're waiting for. We're trying to see what they're going to do in the end. So that is my review for R&B Divas LA episode 8. Alright guys, so until my next video, I'm going to holler at you. Alright, peace.